For this world to progress, your people must reject scientific materialism and embrace scientific rationalism. That is a science that rejects all of the irrational material beliefs and instead embraces a mathematical system, which is exactly what Hyperianism does.
So, scientific rationalism is the rejection of evidence, testing of hypotheses, and verification. In other words, it's not science, and it's far from rational. Gotcha. You really should learn to word gooder.
Nature does not use unreason, it uses reason. Scientific materialism is false.
Nature's reason is truly unreasonably science? 'Cause reasons.
The state that came before the Big Bang. This is the place where religion fails and science breaks down.
Science breaks down. Religion fails. This is the point before the Big Bang.
Dragon! Dragon! You promised him part 2!
No! Won't happen. No.
Come on, man, you promised!
No. They'll never notice. I'll do something on Thomasians.
Nah, you can't do that, man. You promised them part 2!
No. No, Woo Dragon, no. No, Woo Goblin, no.
Well, why the hell not?
No, because you don't understand.
Well, understand what?
You don't understand. He's infected me!
There is no such thing as a world, as any world where mathematics does not apply. There is no world where the number pi does not exist, where the circumference of a circle is not 2 pi r. Every truth of mathematics is an eternal truth. Some lunatics claim that humans invented math, which is equivalent to claiming that humans invented the number pi and circles. They may have come up with the particular symbols, but what the symbols represent are necessary properties of existence. Humans do not invent mathematics, they discover it.
Yes, humans invented math. We can prove this. But of course, every tree naturally has 2 pi r inscribed within the harmonious tree rings. Wait, no, any and all the mathematical equations that we have experience with have been written by humans? I could have sworn the squirrels had gotten there first. Damn it! People, I tried. He's too stupid to emulate. I mean, even as a joke, you see how the fucking makeup is plastered on my fucking face! And even that wasn't enough. Let's be clear. The circumference of a circle is 2 pi r because we set out a number of axioms, including the definition of r as the distance from the center of a circle to the edge of a circle, and pi as the number which, when multiplied by 2r, equals the circumference. That's right, mathematics is based on tautologies. We define these numbers and functions in a certain way. They therefore behave in the way we defined them to behave. Wow, amazing that. Nothing is a better proof of the human origins of mathematics than an equation like 2 pi r is the circumference of a circle because of the axioms that were in use before the number pi was defined. Pi has the value that it has. If, on the other hand, we had started formulating our numerical and mathematical systems with the geometry of circles, we could have defined pi as 3. And everything, including the circumference being 2 pi r, would still work just fine. It's simply that other equations would have to have changed in order to accommodate the difference. That's just how tautologies work. This is why we don't look for aliens sending out signals of pi tau, and other conventions of our mathematical axioms. We look for prime numbers or the Fibonacci sequence because based on the observations of reality, any coherent system of mathematics that can model the empirically observed world must include such concepts, even if their version of pi equals 55, because they started from some other axioms. You really just don't get how any of this works, do you? Find me even a single number extant outside the works of intelligent beings, and I don't count pointing at two rocks and saying, see, a physical representation of two rocks, because we defined two as a representation of the physical reality of this kind of a phenomenon. And I have to say, throughout all of this, you're conflating cause and effect. There's nothing special about pi or circles. Yes, there are things we can call circles, and one of their defining features is a thing we call pi. That doesn't make them necessary. There could be a universe, hypothetically speaking, where all lines are necessarily straight. In such a universe, there would be no circles, no pi. And you are again demonstrating how your worldview is necessarily empirical, as all worldviews outside of an asylum are. You use your experience with the universe to define what is and isn't real, what is and isn't necessary, if you will. That's empiricism. There's nothing rational about circles other than the brute fact that we observe round objects in the world, and observation is necessarily empirical.
So what existed just prior to the Big Bang? Well, it wasn't some bearded creator god, and it certainly wasn't non-existence. It was a purely mental existence, an existence of pure energy, of pure mathematical frequency. This was an immaterial state outside of space-time, since none of these had yet been caused to come into existence. We will refer to this state as the singularity.
Interesting. Your singularity is manifestly physical and material. Do you know how I know? Mathematics. E equals mc squared, motherfucker. Energy is matter. Matter is energy. Put in layman's terms, energy is a physical material phenomenon. Frankly, your description sounds at least as foolish as sky wizards grooming their beard in extra-dimensional buckets. If anything, that's less ludicrous than your anti-materialist materialism. In other words, you are not even wrong on every conceivable level you could comprehend, you damned woo goblin.
This necessarily contained the roots, the potentialities of everything that we encounter in the world around us, including life, mind, the unconscious, consciousness, qualia, space, time, and matter. Absolutely everything that exists today originated in the singularity as immaterial, dimensionless mathematical information.
Are you going to establish even a logical argument for why we should accept this woo-woo? Or are your assertions enough to convince you that you are correct? Do qualia exist? Does unconsciousness exist? Can you demonstrate either? Or are you so full of shit you enjoy the smell of your own farts? I'm betting it's the latter. I don't even need to source why you're wrong, because you're just wildly throwing shit at the wall to see what will stick. Get back to us when you have a point based in evidence or reason.
Imagine it almost like the code of a computer game, except this code is living mathematical energy. The singularity is eternal. It reflects the conservation of energy because it is the conservation of energy. It can be neither created nor destroyed. The singularity that precedes space-time is a zero entropy state. It is perfect order. It is immune to all of the running down that afflicts the space-time universe. It's the space-time universe with all of the space-time forces removed, leaving nothing but pure analytic mathematics, the perfect laws of mind. Science deals with the temporal laws of matter. Pure mathematics furnishes us with the eternal laws of mind. And because the singularity contains mathematical energy of all possible values, its total result is perfect zero, perfect balance.
I could literally stop this here with just one phrase. Prove it! You have nothing but woo, my pale little goblin. You are full of the foulest of shit, pumping it from your ass to feed it into your intellectual minions. There cannot be a perfect singularity of no entropy that created but coexists with our space-time. If it created something, it by definition gained entropy. Deal with it. You have also failed to prove the existence of living energy, living mathematics, mathematical energy, or literally any of the concepts that you have shat from thine ass. This is stupider than the worst young Earth creationists. Cynical Christian and Kent Hovind are laughing at you from the heights of rational thought you can't obtain, and those fuckers are in the cellar's cellar. You keep denying empirical science, but every stupid fucking thing out of your math relies on a kindergartner's misunderstanding of said empirical science. How do you deal with this cognitive dissonance? Oh, and have you proven that mind is an eternal rather than a manifestation of complex atomic interactions? Seriously, all you would have to do is demonstrate that a mind can exist sans a brain. Well, you will never do that. So, good fucking luck, you damned idiot.
You are not a body. You are a mind, which is a container of infinite energy. You, not as a body, but as a mind, are a singularity yourself. All that exists are minds and their energy contents. The singularity contains all of the minds in existence, which are singularities themselves. It is the singularity of singularities.
Define this mathematically or shut the fuck up. What's that? Your woo won't get you to such a definition? Fuck you, Goblin. You are beyond redemption, using buzzwords and woo to avoid ever making a defensible point, while convincing the illiterate that they should listen to you. This isn't just pathetic, it's dangerous and disingenuous. You're describing something even less well conceptualized than any religion, yet you claim to have a higher standard than the sciences that have taken us from the darkest of dark ages to the motherfucking moon. That seems pretty damn backwards if you ask me.
The physical dimension of space-time is a phenomenal illusion generated by the energy interactions of all the minds in existence. When we refer to energy, we are referring precisely to sine and cosine waves guided by the Soule equation, Euler's formula.
No. You are so very wrong that you've left our known universe behind. Energy is a property of matter. Euler's formula has no known or demonstrated relationship to souls, and waveforms are not defined by sine and cosine. Sine and cosine are mathematical functions for understanding and interpreting waveforms. This is precisely the reverse of what you're saying, and I can kill the whole thing with two simple words once again. Prove it.
In the state prior to the Big Bang, all of the sine and cosine waves were in perfect symmetry. They were in phase, perfectly aligned. It was a state of pure mind, pure perfection. Matter had not yet been generated.
So you don't even know mathematics then. A sine wave or cosine wave are always symmetrical at all times. However, symmetry is a physical property since you need dimensions within which you can be symmetrical. As a consequence, nothing can be symmetrical outside of the material world. Further, if the variables of the wave functions are adjusted so that they are all identically overlapping, you just have one wave function and they are no longer symmetrical anymore. To be symmetrical, you have to have two or more non-identical functions, which can be transformed into one another in space-time. It occurs to me that you've completely ignored the fact that geometry requires a coordinate system with which you can map that function. And coordinate systems are descriptions of physical dimensions. So again, you've lost before you've started. You are throwing garbage at the screen and seeing what sticks with your viewers.
The Big Bang was a symmetry-breaking event.
This is the worst thing about woo goblins like yourself. You get one fucking detail right, a detail derived from a field of science you despise as far as I can tell, just to play it as a gotcha later, because now I have to say it. Yes, based on modern cosmology, it would appear that the Big Bang may have caused the electroweak symmetry breaking that gives us the Higgs mechanism and consequently mass. However, It's critically important to point out that the idea of symmetry in quantum physics has nothing so simple as the geometry you barely comprehend. This is a topic on which I'm out of my depth, so I would recommend people do their own reading, starting with some of my sources linked below, and follow the rabbit hole as far as you like. Just remember, the Woo Goblin hasn't even gone that far.
The energy contents of the singularity of all the minds in existence went out of phase and broke symmetry. This misalignment of energy is what generated the illusory domain of space-time.
Did you, at any time whatsoever, have a point, proof, or evidence buried within that word salad of mishmashed, gish-galloping bullshit, under which you hope to bury all doubt? What evidence do you have that mathematics has energy? Where are your proofs that minds exist without bodies? What circumstances and under what conditions would the evolution of naked apes on a random ball of rock lead to the unification of the electromagnetic and weak forces? Never mind that sine and cosine functions are already symmetrical equations. Never mind that symmetry breaking is a physical event within the physical world and occurred after the Big Bang, not during it. Never mind that you have not once demonstrated a single reason we should listen to your ranting, ill-informed, idiotic, cultish nonsense.
The mathematical energy going from harmony to out of harmony is what generated space-time. You can think of it like a perfect mirror shattering into pieces, or a puzzle having its parts scattered. The process of evolution is the process of repairing that mirror, putting the puzzle pieces back together, bringing the sine and cosine waves back in phase, and restoring perfect symmetry.
You do realize that if we are minds described as so-called mathematical energy as defined by Euler's formula, and that energy was such that all of our equations were aligned with one another by mathematical definition, nothing would ever change. We would be trapped in a mindless, thoughtless, steady-state waveform which could never change, never break symmetry, and never come to anything of worth. See, this is why you should have at least a middle school education before you form a math cult. It helps you avoid the basic mistakes of equivocating a simple mathematical equation with thought, mind, and energy.
So what caused the Big Bang? It was all of us together. Our energy contents are what generated this domain of space-time. It wasn't a bearded god in the sky, and it wasn't a random accident that happened for no reason. It was us as a mental collective. You see, the physical universe of space-time is like a cosmic body for a cosmic mind, and we together are that cosmic mind. We cause this domain of space-time as the medium through which to experience ourselves in a separated, divided state of existence, and the process of evolution is the return to perfect unity, to pure mind. We are the universe experiencing itself. Does this seem strange to you? Did you really expect the answer of existence to be something dry and mundane? The truth is the truth, and it just is, regardless if you like it or not.
Time the sacred fuck out! Where's the clip?
Those that worship scientific materialism often say, well, that's just how the universe is. You just have to accept it. Funny, that's exactly the sort of thing religious believers say.
Yeah, you don't get to say that the truth is the truth, you fucking moron. This is why you are the Woo Goblin. You have nothing but rambling woo blowing out your ass while you try to knock off David Bowie's Goblin King appearance. Get the fuck out of your mother's basement, learn basic fucking mathematics and science, and grow the fuck up. Otherwise, remember that it's down the block and not across the street next time.
It is what it is, despite your beliefs and biases. Mathematics is eternally true. Are you beginning to understand? It is reason against unreason. We can remove your blindfold, but we can't make you open your eyes. We can unlock the doors of the prison, but we can't make you walk out. That's up to you.
I genuinely feel like I should be saying this all to you, except This babble is the sort of shit Branch Davidians were saying to their victims, so yeah. Here's the thing. Mathematics is only true if you assume the axioms are true. They are assumptions, except where they directly reflect observed reality. Then, they're assumptions that are supported by evidence. Either way, mathematics is not necessarily true. Neither is logic, nor is reason, which can often be wrong, because truth, insofar as such a thing exists, is a human concept we assign to how well something matches the reality we observe. Reason tells us that effects have causes, but observed reality tells us that's not necessarily true on the quantum level. Logic tells us that Socrates is a goat, if one of your premises is that breathing is a feature of goats. I don't think I have to explain why that isn't true. Mathematics would tell you that 2 equals 5 if I get to choose my axioms properly. The genuine truth is that at this time, all concepts are human constructs we use to describe the universe. The ones we keep are the ones that actually do a good job of describing the universe. But nothing about these tools has to be true or representative of our experience. We just keep culling the bad ideas from the good. After all, William Lane Craig uses logical syllogisms to prove the existence of God, even though plenty of atheists use the same laws of logic to disprove every one of his own arguments. If logic can be arrived at 2 mutually exclusive outcomes, how can it be a standard for truth? By tying it back to empirical evidence in the world around us, and the same goes for mathematics. In the end, you must use empiricism to study the world, because ration ungrounded from reality gets you nowhere fast.
Only the brightest people in the universe will understand our communication. Are you one of them? Join our revolution of reason. Join Hyperianism. Freethinkers, unlike scientific materialists, are little interested in mere models. They want the actual, absolute, infallible, immutable truth.
So, to take this in reverse order, you think free thinkers are the stupidest people on the face of the earth, because absolute truth is impossible for anyone with a basic understanding of the mathematical principles of probability and statistics. But, even better, you're resorting to the "I know I'm smart, but what are you?" argument. Seriously? Whenever you have to assert your intelligence, you demonstrate your stupidity. This is why I stand by my ignorance and hold a torch up to it. Learn a little humility, buddy. It will go a long way. I may sound like an ignorant cuss, but the fact is, I use my channel as a way to focus my mind on learning new topics, new ideas, and getting a better grasp on the nature of reality in many fields. You, on the other hand, use your channel as a bully pulpit to spew baseless nonsense in the hopes of, what? Ad revenue? Adoration of strangers? A need to be the center of attention even if it's based entirely on controversy? I don't know what your malfunction is, but I worry about the people who swallow your malarkey.
The singularity is eternal and existed before human science, before human language, human beliefs and opinions, before human experiences, models and interpretations, and before the human senses.
I thought we were the singularity when we were in sync with one another. You violated your own logic again. Law of non-contradiction. If we're human, we're not human. Therefore, our minds were still human minds with human thoughts, experiences, concepts, models, senses, and all the rest. Back before the Big Bang, these are not my rules. They're yours. Worse still, if the singularity is eternal, then no symmetry breaking occurred, because such a symmetry break would end the singularity. Again, these are your rules, not mine. It's not my fault that you have no idea what you're babbling about.
The philosopher Bertrand Russell wrote, "Mathematics takes us still further from what is human, into the region of absolute necessity, to which not only the world, but every possible world must conform. You are like children playing in a sandbox. We are not persuaded by the simplistic and limited human take on the world. We transcend that primitive, limited, and fallible viewpoint. We view nature from its own perspective, not the human perspective. As Hyperians, we speak nature's language, not the contingent, made-up, arbitrary human languages. We are the creators and the destroyers. We speak the language of existence, and we create as we speak. Ad Astra. To the stars."
And yet you can't figure out how to film video without your fucking ring light on your camera popping your eyes. Or did you think that kind of shitty quality made you look more transhuman instead of just sad? Which is what anyone who unironically speaks in the royal we is anyways. Not to mention, what's up with the black bar on the side of your video? Anyways, that's all you have to say, and it's a whole lot of empty words. This is like listening to someone defend Thomas Aquinas' proofs of God. Please, people, never make me do this again. I came just so close to ending it all. Let's leave him in his quiet little padded room and get on with more engaging ideas, shall we? Such as whether or not we live inside of a hollow earth. It's far more intellectual. I'm InaneDragon, and if you've enjoyed this inanity, consider subscribing for more of the same. As always, take a moment to leave your thoughts down below, and please consider rating and sharing this video. You never know who will want to see a grown man make a fool of himself. And I don't know whether I'm talking about Mr. Morgue or myself in this case. If you'd like to see improvements to production quality, hop on over to Patreon and drain your wallet, because everything donated there goes right back into the channel. Thank you all, and have a good night.